This podcast is created and shared in my personal capacity as a private individual. Nothing discussed here should be interpreted as official statements, endorsements, or representations on behalf of my employer or any public entity. All content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Listeners should not construe any statements made on this podcast as professional, legal, or official government advice. By listening, you acknowledge that the opinions expressed are personal and independent, and you agree not to attribute them to any organization or employer which I am affiliated with. Thank you. Damn, I got. Welcome, everyone, to Backroom Briefings. Alongside Dan Mendoza, I'm Sean Wilson, and I got to tell you, man, today I'm a little excited. We have a special guest on the show, and he's from the Haystacks, because we have with us today the Hayward Police Chief, Bryan Matthews.
Thank
Welcome,
you very much.
Bryan. And look, I'd love give him some round of applause. That's good, man. I was going to read his bio, but I think the listeners would probably agree with me on my train of thought when I was reading his bio. Like, this dude has too many academic accolades to be a police officer. Like, he's always been in school. He's got degrees from here and here and here. It's an impressive resume, Bryan. Very impressive.
I'm not that smart, though. I'm here to tell you.
Well, welcome. I will say the thing I liked about it the most, and I want you to talk about it when we get to that section, but I love the SWAT shit, man. I love everything
something cool about being SWAT.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. That's a
like
long time ago, man.
If you're going to be in the Navy, you're like, that's cool. But if you're a Navy SEAL, like, that's hella badass. So if you're SWAT, that's badass.
He's like 6'3" in SWAT.
Yeah. No, that definitely adds a coolness factor for sure, man. Yeah. So welcome to the show, man. Look, great having you. I'm a Hayward guy too, and we were talking before the show, before we get into the nuts and bolts of Hayward and crime, and I have a few questions. I'm just really happy that Dan didn't cue up the NWA song, because I was telling him, don't play that song. Police officers do not like that song.
Actually, I might have it on my playlist.
I'm sure you do, but we got to look into the copyright of that stuff, because I don't know how that works. But I've been told we can't use that shit.
I do have a question, though, because as someone who's always been supportive of public safety, I remember playing F the Police when I was a kid, 19, 20 years old, and that was bumping, right? I mean, horrible lyrics, but I always wanted to ask a police officer, like, what did you really think of that song?
So I used to listen to it growing up, too. I mean, that was the era. So funny story, I went to the FBI Academy. They got a bar on the Academy grounds. They got a jukebox in there. Room full of cops.
Jukebox.
No, don't even tell me.
After a couple of pints, I got on my phone and I was like, let me see how this goes. And it was a blend. Right. People bobbing their heads, and you had some other people that were like, But look, I ain't mad. Good music.
Yeah. No, I was
back
gonna
in the high school days.
I was gonna say, man, as I was driving here and thinking about asking a member of law enforcement that question, that I was thinking in its bigger picture, right? That was kind of like a movement.
Sure.
Like, at the time, there was these disenfranchised gang members that were being victimized by the LAPD, especially in Compton, and they got together and they weren't heard, and they created this music that was heard by the masses, and it kind of changed the culture.
It did.
And if they weren't talented, you wouldn't have Dr. Dre, you wouldn't have Ice Cube, you wouldn't have Snoop Dogg, you wouldn't have Eminem, you wouldn't have 50 Cent, who was founded by Eminem. I mean, it catapulted a whole genre of music, but also a lot of talent. So it wasn't just them saying F the police. They were trying to say something, which was actually kind of a movement, which I didn't even really think of before. But then you fast forward to the George Floyd thing, which is a different type of movement. But it's just remarkable that music at that time was part of a larger movement that today you look back and like, man, even though those kids were saying something derogatory about the police, it really was, it created an environment in that area where people paid attention to what they were saying.
Well,
and
those are the
changed
types
culture.
of things that, in my opinion, they stimulate meaningful dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the history of this profession, we own a lot of bad stuff.
Right.
You know, let's be real. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've gotten wrong, and I think that that's played out in trauma over generations. And, you know, it's if you don't have a seat at the table and you can't be a part of meaningful discussions, and that's your platform, I get it.
Yeah.
And, you know, for those of us that truly care about advancing the profession and, you know, repairing relationships with communities, you know, those are the conversations that we got to be able to sit down and have.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you ask me the question, hey, you know, what do you think about that song? I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
I get it.
You know, I was hoping that, you know, you're talking about the culture and everything. Can you give us, you know, I want you to not read the bio, but kind of give us an idea. I don't think a lot of the listeners, I didn't know that you were from Hayward. So I thought it was pretty cool to read that, you know, grew up in the area and now you're the chief of police there.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a full circle moment, I guess. So born at Hayward Kaiser back in 1976, for anybody that wants to do the math. So was my brother. So was my sister. I got a brother that works for the Hayward Fire Department. So we've been serving the city both for over 25 years.
Wow.
My grandfather actually graduated from the original Hayward High School. So the old one, it looks like the White House up where Centennial Hall used to be. So the family roots go back years in the city of Hayward. My father was actually a minister in South Hayward for about 15 years when I was growing up. So to be able to serve in this capacity, I mean...
Did you ever think you'd be chief?
No.
Never?
No.
Yeah.
You know, going back to high school, you know, we always used to duck when the cops came, right? So...
and your bachelor's degree is in sociology?
Sociology, yeah.
And do you feel like that helps you out in the job at all, or not so much?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, when you look at, you know, it's a scientific study of society, and a lot of what you study in that type of a program are the origins of things like gangs, right? You know, criminal conduct and how it intersects with, you know, where you grew up, whether you were inner city or suburbs or traditionally, you know, economic status, all of those things, right? And those are conversations that we're still having today about, you know, public safety as a whole, right?
Right.
But it was a great learning experience for me.
Yeah. And I mentioned SWAT earlier.
Yeah.
How long were you in SWAT for? I still think
I
that
love
shit's
that.
so cool. I love
About
it.
14 years.
Yeah.
I worked my way all the way up to the commander position.
But let me ask you,
Yeah.
being SWAT in Hayward, is it a little boring?
No, we got work.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
man,
I feel like
got work.
SWAT in LA would be.
Oh yeah,
That's full time, man.
SWAT
That's
in
a full
LA
time.
would
That's a
be,
full time gig. Ours is not a full time gig. You
Yeah.
have your primary assignment. That's ancillary, but it's fun work. You know, when you look at team athletics, you know that's a team sport, right?
Everyone has their everyone has their job,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Well-
So let me ask you real quick. When you were on SWAT, did you serve with a member of the Yakub tribe, Guy Jacob?
Yes, I did for a long, long time.
Guy Jacob, good friend of mine. He retired from.
I love me some Guy Jacob.
Well, if he's a friend of yours, he retired because that means he's 56 plus.
Yeah,
He don't look like
hey,
it, though.
man,
Yeah.
55.
You don't look like it.
No, he's in good shape.
He's a
man.
Mount Eden grad.
Mount Eden grad. I went to Mount Eden High School with him, and we've had some fun times together. Man, that guy was a kick in the pants growing up.
You know, we prepped for you coming in the last month, and I mean, I've given you a shitload of questions. We're not going to get to all of them, but before we get to that, I do want to I want to start off. We kind of start the podcast off with just, you know, normal shit happening. And the last podcast we had Gordon Galvin in, and it was opening night at the fairgrounds. I think everything was safe. I didn't hear any bad news there. But Gene Simmons was a flop, dude.
He was a flop?
It was a flop.
Like the Gene Simmons?
The Gene Simmons.
Without the makeup kiss Gene
Really?
Simmons. Yeah. He's
So
just
Chief,
a dude in
Chief,
tall
let me ask you
boots.
this. How
That's
do
it.
you go from 130,000 seat venue with fans to, I don't even think he had 2,000 people in there.
Ooh, that's bad. Well, first,
Maybe, I don't know,
take the
how much
makeup
does
off, I guess.
Yeah, how much does the amphitheater how much does the amphitheater
I think
fit?
it's 2,000 or 3,000 seats. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, it wasn't packed. So
He
I'm
didn't
saying
have
there's
it
only
packed.
like
But
2,000.
did he do any Kiss songs?
Only one.
Only one?
Oh,
Well, then
yeah.
that's why.
There you go.
And well, I think what people thought maybe was that he showed up, or at least this is what Gordon thought, maybe because he showed up and there was no one there. He was like, F you guys.
Oh.
Like, I'm only going to sing the one song or whatever. So,
Oh, wow.
but you know who was there?
Who?
Val.
Val Galvin.
Val Galvin.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Did I say Val Galvin?
Not Val Burgers.
Val Galvin.
How tasty are Val Burgers, though, by the way?
Hard to beat.
Hard to beat.
Hard
Oh,
to
that's
beat.
a Hayward staple, right?
That is a Hayward staple. I've been seeing all this In-N-Out stuff at the World Cup.
Yeah, no, nothing was like a Val's Burger.
Burgers.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned World Cup. I saw Cristiano finally got a couple goals in.
Who's he playing for now?
Well, it's still Portugal.
Portugal?
Yeah, still Portugal. But yeah, he was very excited that he made a couple of goals. And you told me earlier you're watching
Oh, yeah.
World Cup, huh?
He got socked up after the first game. I know that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Dan. Who do you root for in the World Cup? You have three. The Germans, the Mexicans, or the
US.
Americans?
Well, we have a thread with my family, and we're tracking all three. So
Okay.
if any one of those three wins, we're happy.
You're in good shape.
Obviously, mom wants the Germans to win. Obviously, so.
Well, don't sleep on the Americans, man. They have a pretty good team.
I was going to say, they're
Have
doing
a
well.
pretty good team.
And how about I know we talked about you being a baseball guy, which
Yes.
that's my least favorite sport, by the
Well,
way.
He doesn't like it.
You got to understand the game. Everybody I talk to is like, man, it's slow.
Yeah.
It is. But you got to understand the game within the game. And so I pitched, and it was good. But I played soccer too. That's why I'm like, if you're not watching the World Cup, are you even human?
Yeah, well, then you have
right.
to.
You have
Yeah.
to.
It's like,
I feel that
so
way
much
about the Olympics. I don't watch a lot of the Olympics, but I feel like you got to check in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like just see what's happening and support your
Who'd
your
you pitch
country.
for? Castro
I pitched
Valley?
for
Or
Castro Valley High, but then I pitched at Chabot for a couple of years.
was Johnny Rodriguez part
Johnny
of your...
Rodriguez was there. He was a sophomore when I was a freshman, so I played with him.
Yeah, he was going pro. You just ask him.
Uh-huh.
Fortunately, he didn't happen. Didn't happen.
J-Rod.
Fell a little short.
J-Rod.
J-Rod.
Well, let's dive right into. Like I said, I mean, shit, we could do a 2-hour episode with you today, and so I want to just dive right in and start off with, what is the state of Hayward look like currently, from safety and just overall policing.
Sure.
I think you came on in 2024.
So officially came on in 2024.
As chief.
Yeah, I was an interim for about a year and a half before that. And then, like I said, started in 99. I'll start with the good. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Hayward right now. If you look at just the data and the crime statistics, we're showing declines in most of our crime categories, some in the double digits, especially as it relates to property crime, those types of things. So there is some really positive trending that's been going on for the last year plus. And I think that's true of the region, but it certainly is true in Hayward. We have a ton of talent in that organization. I'm at the latter half of my career and starting to think about transition and, upcoming folks and who's next and who we're going to invest in. And it's hard because we got a lot of good people in there. A lot of people that can move into some high level positions and take that organization to new heights. We have a great community, diverse, supportive, folks that truly want to be engaged on public safety issues. So a lot of good conversation going on there.
Yeah.
We have, support from our elected body. So a lot of good things that are going on in Hayward as it relates to public safety. We also have our challenges. Human resources being probably the number one. It's tied to fiscal challenges that I think most folks are aware of, but that's ongoing work, is trying to make sure that we're able to take care of folks and address those challenges.
Well,
at the same
you
time.
mentioned, maybe next in line. Historically, have you guys promoted chiefs from within, or there's no real statistics?
So that's
on
always a desire. I would say in my time, because I've probably worked for about, I'm going to say 8 or 9, about half.
Really?
About half have been from the outside.
Does the city manager pick, or does
City manager picks.
council?
I mean, the council, I think, is consulted. They weigh in. I think,
But
they
it's
do
not a
pretty
formal vote.
It's not a formal vote. I think they do a pretty comprehensive research. They talk to people in the community, talk to council, all these folks, talk to people in the police department.
Yeah.
Um,
When you came on, who was it? Kelly that was there?
Kelly was the city manager.
Yeah.
Tony Chapman was the chief before me, so he was an outside guy. Came from San Francisco.
Dan, you have to understand, there is like half of my graduating class and maybe 2 classes ahead of me and 1 behind me, or we're all like Hayward police officers. Seriously.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can go down the list. I mean, there's like guys on our wrestling team that became Hayward PD. Eric Krim,
Yep.
Melanson, Henderson.
Yep.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was a feeder like from our graduating class right into the academy.
Yeah.
But I'd be remiss if I didn't confess this.
Hold on. Is the statute of limitations up for this? What am I getting right now?
No, yes, I checked.
No, I saw he has handcuffs on his bag right there. So just be
statute of
prepared.
limitations, and my dad's gonna be like, "Damn, why did you even say that?" You know, when you grew up in Hayward, you had to find creative things to do, and as a youth, along with a lot of my friends, we found creative things to do. One of those creative things to do was to strategically place laundry detergent inside the water fountain in front of the Hayward Police Station. Now, I can't confirm or deny that I was there, but I did drive by and see the results of that work. And as a 17-year-old, it's kind of funny when in front of the Hayward Police Department, there's this bellowing, just endless amount of suds that keeps flowing from the fountain. And
That's pretty good.
It became pretty funny, man.
That's
so
pretty good.
I know the
can't
guys
lie.
that did it, but the statute of limitations
They got
has
smart when
run
I
out.
started there. There was no water running. That
probably
thing was dry as a bone.
Yeah.
That was
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
that was one of those things that damn kids those days.
Yeah.
All right, man. I won't tell nobody.
But you know, back when
I
I
won't tell nobody.
when I was in high school, man, we had an episode at the park. I'll never forget it. It was in Eden Greenway, and we were playing wiffle ball. We had a fence. If you hit it over here, you know, it was like 2-on-2. And these guys come up to us and goes, "Hey, we want to play with you." And they weren't they weren't from the neighborhood, right? Because I grew up in Schaefer Park, and I knew everyone in Schaefer Park. These cats weren't from Schaefer Park. Turns out they're from like South Tennyson. At the time, there was a gang called DGF from South Tennyson. And we didn't know they were members of a gang. We didn't know what a gang was. We thought we were a gang, but we were like the little rascals gang. We had no beef. We just wanted to play sports.
Sandlot.
So these guys come in and they take a bat from us and they beat me in the head, under the eye, steal my chain. And I'll never forget. I'm like, man, this is I felt so just like helpless was the word. Helpless. This dude had me up against the gate, poking the wiffle ball bat in my eye, steals my chain, and I'm like, I'm gonna get that chain back. So fast forward 2 months, we find out these guys are in the gang called DGF.
Yep.
Right. Kind of find out that this guy has a girlfriend that went to Tennyson, and they went to Tennyson. I wrestled a meet at Tennyson, and lo and behold, who do I see in that stand? My God, I see that guy that took that chain off my neck.
Was he wearing it?
No. But now I'm with my wrestling team, my gang. So I see him and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, I want to talk to you for a minute." Comes on down and I'm like, "I want that chain." He's like, "I don't know what happened to it." I'm like, "Hey, man." And all my buddies had, you know, I wasn't stupid. I was a 128-pound wrestler. I bought the heavyweights. I bought everyone with me.
Yeah.
You brought the 6'3" guys from SWAT.
I brought Henderson and
There you
Keith
go.
Statton. I brought the beef. And they forced this dude to meet me at the store that I worked at. I work at Southland Lucky's.
Yep.
And on Sunday at my shift, man, lo and behold, that dude comes in and brings my necklace back.
There you go.
Nice job.
Good Hayward story.
You should be-
That's
You
a great
should've-
Hayward story.
You should have been a cop.
I was going to say, you
I
should
did apply.
give me an
I
application.
I applied to the sheriff's department. I took the fire academy. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And everyone else, Guy included, went that way. Tom, my buddy, went that way. And I went political route, which now I watch them enjoy a nice drink on the beach and I'm back at work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't get the 50% plus 3 or whatever.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, man.
Well, you know, you had mentioned safety. It seems like that Alameda County in general seems to be safer than it was 2 years ago. And I don't know if that's a DA thing. I don't know if all of you guys, and I wanted to ask you the question, you know, what do you think the trend is? Because I think it's safe to say in a lot of the cities, they're boasting better numbers as far as safety than they had been in the past. Interestingly enough, on one of the news programs yesterday, they said that the smash and grabs in cars in Oakland is down so much. They were interviewing all these glass people, and it was a little reminiscent of, you know, when we have discussions about homelessness, that if you curb homelessness, it's going to get rid of the guys putting the toilets out and everything. And I thought, well, although I do feel for the guys that run the glass companies, I would prefer that they would be slow and there's no smash and grabs than if there is. But what do you think it is in Alameda County that, I mean, do you see that same trend?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm familiar with the story that you mentioned. I think it's a combination of all of those things, right? Like, you're not going to see declines in crime without good old-fashioned police work. That's still prevalent. We have a good relationship in the county with all the chiefs, the sheriff, the DA. We talk about crime trends. We try to partner and share, resources. But I think technology has certainly been a game changer. License plate reader technology, some of the drone capabilities now. I mean, we're collecting evidence that we never had access to before. You talked about, 2 years ago, you talked about the change in the DA's office. I think that is a factor. And I can give you an example of an organized retail case that we investigated where we had a group of kids who came all the way from the east side of Sacramento, through Stockton, all the way to Alameda County, because the word was out. You're not going to get charged.
See?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and that's what they told us. They told our investigators that in an interview. So it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have that multifaceted approach to see what we're seeing right now. It's going to swing back the other way, right? Crime is kind of cyclical. It'll go up and down. But we're seeing a good trend. At least
I mean, I hear it. I hear people talk about it. Usually when there's elections, and we just went through a primary, safety is usually a hot topic. Yeah. And I think that people are feeling a little more comfortable than they did the last election. I didn't hear a lot of safety like I do in the past. I mean, there was, obviously they're talking about it, but not to the level that they usually do. And I think that's credit to you guys out there doing what needs to be done. I mean, I say this on all the podcasts, whenever the DA's on or someone like yourself, when Mayor Salinas was on, the general public just wants to be safe. Yeah. I want my daughter to be able to go to the grocery store at night, and I don't want to have to worry that she's going to not show up. Yep. And so, thank you guys 100%. for changing that effort.
Well, it's got to, at least I would expect that the morale in the department has to be better, knowing that the DA is going to prosecute the cases that they bring forward. Because the years past, I don't know if the morale was down, but I know that I've talked to police officers in other areas that were just kind of discouraged because they're frustrated. They see the same perpetrator of crimes time and time again doing the same crimes, only to get checked in and let out of Santa Rita like it's a revolving door.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. There's certainly been a morale hit in that regard, but I think there's been a lot of improvement there. And, we recognize that not every case is going to get charged. We recognize that not every person needs to go to jail, right?
Right.
At the same time, we have to take a collective approach and be balanced in our approach to make sure that, people aren't doing the same thing over and over and over again without some kind of an accountability measure.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, you hit the nail on the head when you kind of put the whole circle of things that kind of come together to solve and stop and halt crimes. Technology at the forefront. Like I referenced earlier, if technology was back in 1987, those little damn kids would not be able to put detergent
hey, let's
in
be
the police
honest.
Station fountain.
I'm sure.
I guarantee they couldn't.
I wouldn't be sitting in this seat. Social media and technology back in the day, we'd be in trouble.
So,
no shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's we'll jump down to the technology segment here. I mean, I'm assuming you're pro Flock camera.
So pro ALPR camera.
Right?
What's the difference?
Well, Flock's a company.
Oh, okay.
ALPR is the license plate reader acronym, right?
Yeah, it's the name of the company that most people contract with. I'm married to the technology, not necessarily the company.
Yeah.
We do have a contract with Flock.
I thought you were about to say you're married to somebody within the company.
No.
Wait, where's he going with this? Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but the technology, regardless of who your provider is, is a game-changing technology. So is Flock the game in town? Most people go with that. Is that why I know that name so well? That name's been in the media. There's been some controversy about the Flock product, who has access to it. You've had agencies that have found years after the fact that there was at one point some unauthorized access. There's concerns about the immigration piece, right? And we've done a lot of research and work with Flock to make sure that the product in its current form is tight. And we want people to feel comfortable that we're not using that technology for unauthorized or illegitimate purposes. So
can you give us an example of what would, because I've been thinking about this, what would my license plate, like, why would I give a crap who you guys gave my license plate to?
It's not just a license plate reader. It's some of the other aspects that the camera could catch. And a lot of the testimony that I've witnessed is that people will say, well, you were trying to apprehend this vehicle and it got off the road and this guy's peeing off on the freeway and he now gets arrested for indecent exposure, when in fact you were supposed to just stick with that car and follow the license plate. That's just a very general
example. Would that really happen?
I don't think that scenario is, at least with our system, that's not a plausible scenario, right? Like, that's not something that would happen. Literally what ALPR is a photographic image of a license plate at a location on a certain day and time. So we don't get any information about registered owner, driver, any of that information we don't get just because somebody's driven through a camera that has ALPR, right? Yeah. All it does is say this car was here on this date at this time. The benefit to that program is that when you have a car that's been entered into the system because you got a kidnapping case, you got a homicide case, you got a stolen car, every time it goes under a camera, an alert goes out with an image of the license plate to every computer in the field, to the dispatch center. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about apprehension and solvability, I mean, it's been a game changer.
Yeah.
Do you watch Dateline?
Nah.
Yeah, I can't watch it anymore. I just can't believe people are that stupid in this day and age to commit the crimes in which they commit. Like, when you even think of doing something to your spouse, just watch a Dateline episode. You're not going to get away with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's so ridiculous to me that people that there's even a Dateline on. It's like it's not gonna happen. There's too much technology. There's too much. And I saw one episode where they tracked that car.
Yeah.
Different license plate readers right to the guy's house. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Sure you do. Yep. Here you go.
But to your point, though, as much as we have a lot of this technology, I mean, look what happened with Savannah Guthrie's mom. I don't even think they have any idea.
I don't think they've even found her yet.
No, they haven't.
And there's a lot of that technology. But the one thing I like about the LPR system
license plate reader
is I love that part where we had a politician a couple years ago in Alameda, I think. I want to say it was Barbara Boxer, and she had, don't quote me on who it was, but I think it was Barbara Boxer. I think she had her purse stolen in Alameda. The license plate reader picked up on it, and they actually came to Dublin to get a haircut, and it pinged the camera, and they picked them up within minutes. And, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want that.
You got time for a quick story?
Yeah. It's your show today.
3-4 weeks ago, we had a guy show up, baby's mama's house. He has 2 prior arrests for attempted murder on her. He socked her up, took their infant, threw the infant in the car, and then took off. We got a license plate from mom when we showed up, and the officers were able to pick it up on 880. They were able to pick it up again on 880. It got on 238, got off in Castro Valley, able to stop the car. No force encounter, no nothing. Able to take dude into custody, able to recover the kid. If that technology was not in place, that would have been an Amber Alert. It would have went all over the state of California. We'd have been looking for that guy all over the place, and it resolved in 20 minutes.
And 6 months from now, it would have been on Dateline.
Would have been on Dateline.
Yeah.
No, but see, so to your point, Dan, like, I don't know why people would not want that technology to be a tool in the tool belt of our public safety sector, right? Like, to me, it makes zero sense to even oppose it, but yet people still do. And it's I think what you might be referring to when you talk about the Flock contract is the Alameda County Sheriff's uses that company Flock, and that's a big contract. And there's been a lot of scrutiny on, well, is the sheriff going to use it to detain ICE? Is the sheriff going to use it to try to export people? Is the sheriff going to use it to try to apprehend other crimes that are being committed while that's being looked at? And look, I don't understand. With the story you just articulated, it makes it worth it, right? Yeah. And you should be a do-gooder anyway. Like, I have nothing to hide. Hey, man, you can have cameras everywhere. Just don't have it in my bedroom. I'm good. Right?
We all deserve privacy in our
exactly
our personal spaces. I get it.
Well, before we get off technology, then what about AI and drones? Do you guys see that coming into play? I mean, everybody's talking AI. I don't know how that even would play into policing, but maybe AI would. What do you? So I
can give you
does
some examples. Does
LPR use AI?
LPR does not use AI, but there's software solutions now that will allow you to transcribe interviews,
police reports.
I'll give you an example. We're looking at a solution that will allow for transcription to happen in 15 minutes versus 15 hours, right? If you got a detective that's got to sit down and go through 15 body cameras and listen to what everybody said and who they said it about and all those things, you now can get a transcript in a matter of minutes.
From the body cam.
From the body camera. You can, upload, kind of a series of reports and have it print out a chronological timeline for an investigation. I mean, it's a game changer in terms of being able to use data to be able to not only manage performance, but, like when you're talking about resource challenges on the people side.
Yeah.
If I can have my folks spend a way less time on task, that frees them up to be able to do other things. So it is here. I will say, just as a disclaimer, it is not some magic pill. It ain't, it's
right.
It's got its issues, and you have to be careful about how you use it, and you have to have strong guardrails around how you use it. The report writing example is a perfect one. So if I want an AI platform to write my narrative and I don't check it, and now I submit it and it's not accurate, it's part of a court record, I got problems, right? And that's happened. And so, you got to be careful about how you use it, but it's here.
But wouldn't it be cool if you I'm going to walk you through it. You made me think of something that I think would be really cool. Like if I was an officer and I arrested a suspect and I brought him into the office to talk to him, the interrogation room to interrogate him, and I had AI. And I said, hey, I just apprehended a 36-year-old white male whose mom left him when he was 7. Dad was an alcoholic. What's the fastest way to break him? And AI just gives it to you.
That's a new application. I don't think anybody's thought of that.
I'm going to write that down.
And when AI says waterboarding, you're not allowed to do that.
You can copyright that before people start making money.
See, I mean, that's a great way to use AI.
Yeah. And what about drones? You guys use
drones are here. We do have a drone program. It is kind of right now it's a line of sight. There's a handful of them that are in the field. We have a handful of pilots, and they can use them on specific incidents, but we are moving down the path of a drone as a first responder program, which is also going to be a game changer. These things, fly autonomously. It's 100% reactive, right? So we only use it when a call for service comes in, but you could put that thing over a problem. It is.
Oh, you don't have an officer controlling it? It
flies autonomously to a scene, and you have an officer monitoring the camera that can move the camera once it gets on scene.
But he's not controlling
not physically flying.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, no, because years and years ago, I went on a ride along in Fremont, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to ask the chief if I can if I can fly the drone.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think I don't think they need you.
That's how we're doing it now. That's how we're doing it now. But what we're trying to get to is that model because we did a test drive for about a month. And, it's the equivalent of a helicopter at a fraction of the price, right?
Yeah.
You can have eyes over a problem that's unfolding before you even have cops and firefighters showing up at a scene.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you talk about, public safety outcomes and making sure that people are safe and being able to contain an area so that, your apprehension probability goes up, it's a game changer.
I think all that stuff is great shit.
I'll tell you a quick story. When last year, 4th of July, there was illegal fireworks going off in a neighborhood that I was at a party. And those drones, they were there.
Hey, Chief, I don't mean to interrupt you, but when he said at a house in a neighborhood that he lived, it was at his house.
No.
In Hayward? In Hayward?
No, in Brentwood.
No, it was not.
He's like,
it was
a house in my neighborhood.
It was
it was your house.
Okay. I swear to you, it was not my house. I don't believe in illegal fireworks because I've seen the damage they could do. The drone was there literally within 5 minutes of that first rocket going up. And it was crazy. And then the police officers there, and they shut it down quick. I mean, we're not talking about like those little sticks and Roman candles. We're talking about things that went up 400-500 feet in the air.
They're gonna light fires and hurt people.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, and I wasn't. I'm going to throw this in there because I was just thinking about it as we were talking because I love everything technology, and So as a chief and as having patrol officers, do you have any opinion one way or the other about autonomous vehicles and how that plays into enforcement? And I mean, have you guys ever ran into anybody sleeping while their Tesla's driving down the road?
So we have not. I've seen the news stories, and I know it's an issue. And even you look at what's going on now with the Waymo cars, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
it crashed and it screws up.
I don't think you guys would have those in
that stuff. No,
Hayward
we haven't. We don't have like. I mean, I know people that have the Teslas that drive themselves, right? So it's all over the place, and it is going to warrant, kind of an alternative approach to certain things. Like I remember back in the day when this started to become a thing. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're never going to have a DUI again, right? Like, how is that going to change laws? And I think a lot of that remains to be seen. It is going to be a challenge. I mean, I think ultimately you're sitting in the driver's seat. You have manual override control. I mean, I think you could still be
charged,
held.
Yeah, you should,
for what happens with the car, right? Because you're supposed to be paying attention.
Yep, exactly.
So if one of your police officers pulls over some guy in a Tesla and he's literally sleeping in the car, I mean, because I think the car can drive him while he's sleeping.
Yeah, but that's a DUI.
Is it a ticket?
You can still be held accountable under the law.
But I mean, what if he does nothing wrong? Let's just say your officer's at the traffic light.
Oh, you mean can he get a citation just for being asleep in the car?
Can he pull over the guy? Because the light's going to turn green and the Tesla's going to take off. And he may be dozing in the car. Would you guys, I mean, I don't know what the protocol is.
I would say we have an obligation to pull the car over anyway to make sure that's not a medical emergency.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you can't just sleep in your car at an intersection.
Hey, I don't know. I would, if I had a Tesla,
it's a good place to snooze.
I mean, it's not common.
I've almost asked to borrow yours so I can sleep on the way to a meeting.
No way.
It's tempting, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's cool shit. I love the technology.
No, it's great. But one of the things that I think has been an increase over the years from the time that I grew up in Hayward, there was one homeless guy when I grew up in Hayward, and everyone knew him. Mm-hmm. We didn't know if he was drunk, mentally ill, whatever. We'd always give him food. When I worked at Taco Bell on Jackson, give him a burrito. One homeless guy.
Yep.
That's it. Everyone knew him.
Yep.
Now there's a ton of homeless people, and now mental health has increased to a level that I've never seen before.
Yep.
I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, if you got acted out of line because, you wanted something that you didn't get, you get your ass whipped and you wouldn't act out of line anymore. Now you can't hurt poor Johnny because he's ADHD and he needs special treatment. How many calls do you guys get where you're like, man, if I just had a mental health condition, I wouldn't have to be dispatched to this house, right?
Probably, I'm going to guess probably 5 to 10% of calls for service. And it's going up. Mm-hmm. There's no question. To your point, I think, you look at everything that, we have a licensed clinician or psychologist that works in our department. She runs our Youth and Family Services Bureau. We got 10 clinicians that provide community service free of charge to everybody.
That's great.
It's a huge resource, and she is well-versed in that world. And I rely on her a lot for her expertise. And what she told me was, when you look back at when they dissolved all of the full-time live-in institutions,
right,
with the thought process that we're going to put these people back in our neighborhoods and treat them where they are. In theory, great, but they never built that infrastructure to be able to provide that treatment. And then you saw levels spike, and then you had Gulf War, COVID, you name it. And so the mental health impact is real, and the housing issue, even just from a cost standpoint, is real. And so I think I would estimate 5 to 10% of our patrol calls have to do with somebody who's either unhoused or in crisis.
But it seems like the homeless issue kind of impacts that as well. I mean, do you have a lot of homeless encampments? I've seen one homeless encampment when I drove through Hayward, but I haven't driven through Hayward like I normally would when I live there. Are there pockets of homeless encampments in Hayward?
Yeah, there are. I think probably every community, if they're being honest, they have some level of it, right? Yeah. I know we did the point in time count. We showed a reduction.
You guys went down,
you went down.
Which is a good thing. And I think there's some recognition of the gaps right now and a lot of work that's being done, not only by government agencies, but community-based organizations to try to fill those collectively. I think that's what we need to be doing. But we have them.
Yeah.
So we can't just build more cuckoo's nests and think that the problem's going to get solved.
Right.
I mean, we really need, and what we've done out in Livermore when we found a homeless shelter in a creek, we built Goodness Village, and we built it. And when I say we, the county supervisor that I worked for at the time did it. We got a project coordinator. We built a tiny home project ourselves without using the county resources. And the phenomenal thing was when you interview those folks that were living in the creek, a lot of them just wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They were happy just being there.
Yep.
Like, this is my home. And there's like a city government structure within those homeless encampments.
Yes.
It's, well, you want to go talk to me, you got to talk to the mayor over here first. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we were talking about organized crime and we're talking about homelessness and the clinicians, on both of those topics, do you feel like over the last couple of years the laws have been getting better or worse when it comes to, and maybe start with the retail theft and then on to the, I mean, are there state laws that you feel inhibit your ability to do what you need to do in each one of those situations? Because I know, like, for example, organized crime, I think we were looking at some state laws to make it easier for you guys to arrest and prosecute, because I think maybe the amounts were too low, but maybe you can speak to that a little bit. As
absolutely.
Far as statewide
from
laws.
From a state perspective, I think the organized retail crime thing and a lot of theft-related crime blew up after Prop 47 became law, right? Where you had, this position that, the voting public said, hey, we don't want people to be incarcerated or, and so there were reductions and penalties and all these things that were kind of across the board. And a lot of those crime areas with Prop 47, we saw the aftermath of that, where it made holding people accountable far more difficult. You could still arrest in certain cases, but in a lot of cases, like if I know that the dollar amount went from $400 to $900, and I can go to 10 different stores and steal $859 worth of stuff, and it's all misdemeanors. Or, real world example, we had a dude that we arrested 4 times in 1 week in 4 separate stolen cars. I'm not kidding you.
That's crazy.
Those types of cases where you have folks who are chronically doing the same thing over and over again and victimizing people over and over again, and the accountability measure wasn't there, right? There are some adjustments that have been made to some of those laws, specifically around organized retail theft, because we all saw it the last few years where people just running into stores to take stuff.
Yeah.
That have a little bit more teeth, which I think is, it's got to be used judiciously, but I think that's been, a value add. And again, a lot of it has to do with who and if we're prosecuting cases.
In a situation like that, if 10 people come and rob, what is Hayward's policy on pursuit?
So we pursue violent felonies. There are some misdemeanor exceptions to that. Again, one of the nice things about having some of the technologies that we're talking about is, you can avoid. Pursuits are dangerous. I don't care what they're for.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
So, there's other investigative strategies that we can use to solve these cases without having to chase people all over the freeway during rush hour traffic. If it's a straight up theft, organized retail theft, no violence associated, no weapons involved.
Then Well, I heard somewhere, is there a thing that you can shoot out of the police vehicle and it attaches to the car and like messes with the electronics?
Making me give all the secrets out, man.
Yeah, you can't.
It was on the news, I thought.
It's not a secret. There are.
All of a sudden, I'm thinking, shit, am I really giving it?
There is a technology that allows you, to attach a GPS device to a car during a pursuit, and then you can back off and
just let them. We'll get you later.
Yeah, Sean has those that he uses. I won't say who he uses them on, but I think they're called like Apple tags or something. I don't know.
I don't use any of those, man.
And then what about from the laws with homelessness and clinicians and mental, people that maybe have some issues? Are there laws that maybe prohibit what you guys can do in those situations? For example, if you have a guy sleeping outside of a storefront at 9:00 in the morning, are there laws that don't allow you guys to move them, or you guys have a lot of?
I think, first of all, one of the misconceptions about homelessness, I think, is that it's criminal. It's not, right? Homelessness in and of itself is not a crime. And so it becomes a complicated issue just based on that alone. There was case law, that really limited the ability to do things like, clean up encampments, particularly the ones, if you got an encampment with an open flame, near a dry hill in the summertime, it's a safety
Bad
issue,
news,
right?
yeah.
You know, you're not trying to displace people per se. You're trying to keep everybody else safe. And there were laws that prohibited our ability to do that in a timely manner. Those have changed. You know, and
Was
there
that a state law or a city law?
No, it was actually it was a case law, a national case law.
Oh, like
Yeah. And then the state, you know, adjusted based on that. But I think, you know, we try to take a pretty comprehensive approach to those challenges. You know, we have a whole matrix. If it's a safety issue, it becomes a higher priority. Otherwise, you know, we talked about, you know, these responses to homelessness. We've actually built kind of a comprehensive program that leads with clinicians versus, you know, coming straight in from an enforcement angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we are trying to connect people to services. We are trying, you know, if there are people that just want to be homeless.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people, I did the point in time count. I'm like, you know, hey, have you ever been in a shelter before? Yeah, I've been in your shelter. Okay. Well, what'd you leave for? You guys got all these rules.
Yeah.
Oh, and they don't like those
You got all
rules.
these rules.
No.
Would that be considered you guys have transitional housing in Hayward?
We do. We have a navigation center, and Bay Area Community Services is building out Regis Village, which is going to be, you know, 200 plus bed facility.
That's currently the old St. Regis
it is the old St.
home
Regis,
for seniors. They just redid it.
Yeah.
It was a big stink. It was on the news. The governor
It's
did
still,
it. But I hear it's not trending in the right direction in terms of calls for service.
it's there's a lot of calls for service. Fire's far more impacted than the police department, but we're getting a lot of calls for service there, and so we're having these ongoing meetings with BACs just about, you know, what that looks like and how we can mitigate some of that stuff. And so we're going to continue those conversations. But we do have and have had for years a navigation center, and we've seen a lot of success. Over 90% of the people that are in that facility have been referred by police officers, and a whole bunch of them have moved from that transitional housing project into more permanent housing. And so we have seen success there. And it's been a resource in Hayward for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was just asking me the other day about a transitional housing in the Tri-Valley area. I don't think we have any out in the Tri-Valley area.
Well, Goodness Village is a small transitional. It was.
I don't think that's transitional.
It's supposed to be transitional because it has wraparound services, and the idea is you stay there for X number of days and months, you know, not years, and then you move on to housing. But it's been slow. And transitional housing is expensive.
It is.
You know, we have transitional housing in Livermore, and it's just, you know, Vineyard 1 and Vineyard 2.0, and it's expensive, and, you know, calls for service around the area is increasing, and, you know, it's tough. And, you know, look, homelessness is a tough thing to solve. Like, people have varying degrees of why they're there and different illnesses that contribute to why they're there. It's a tough task, and that's why we haven't been able to solve it.
Well, we're going to get you out to Tri-Valley more. There's a cowgirl luncheon at the Livermore Rodeo that you should come serve there as well.
Hey, I can.
Well, I'm going to try to get you and Mayor Salinas out there.
We can do it.
You got to go to
Get it on my calendar early.
The mixer, because the rodeo mixer is where you need to be.
I've heard good things.
It was very good things, and the food was phenomenal.
I've heard good things.
I mean, the food was phenomenal. It was a great time.
By the way, Riley said you can't go anymore.
Yeah, right. Hey, so I was just going to ask you real quick, man, as we kind of close out the show. You know, I know a lot of departments have vacancies.
Yep.
Very hard to recruit. When I was a kid, man, being a police officer was a thing of beauty. It was something that people aspired to be. But along the road and along the way, there's been, as you said earlier, all these issues. And, you know, look, every job, no matter what you do, doctor, lawyer, chief of staff, whatever you do, you're going to have good ones and you're going to have shitty ones. It's just a fact of life.
Well, we're all human.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you guys have shitty ones, it puts a real dark spot on the whole overall organization of public safety. And I look, when people are yelling at defund the police, I was the first one to say, great, you know what? You do that. Take 911 off your fucking phone. Because then if you want to defund the police, you can't call them.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I do. You want to defund them? Remove 911 off your phone.
Yeah.
Because it's a crazy thing to think that you don't need public safety and police officers to help you in bad times. And everyone's going to experience a bad time.
Yep.
So recruitment, how's it going? Where you at in terms of your department?
So we're continuing. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's a challenge, right? Trying to get good people in a competitive market, trying to get good people when policing is a pretty polarizing issue when you talk about public perception. Trying to find people, trying to maintain standards, when we evaluate candidates, all of those things make it hard for us to get people in the door, right? When we have, I'll give you an example, 350 applications. Out of that pool, we bring on maybe 4.
Really?
Maybe 5.
What's the drop off? The reason for that low recruitment or the low rate of
some of it's performance in the testing process.
Really?
Some of it is, background investigation outcomes. You got to pass a medical, you got to pass a psych. There's all these steps. I mean, it's a comprehensive hiring process.
Oh yeah.
And at about every stage, you can wipe out half.
Wow.
And so, there are challenges there. And one of the things that we're dealing with in Hayward is we have a vacancy rate that we have to maintain because of fiscal challenges. We know we have a whole bunch of people that are getting ready to service retire in the next year, including, a bunch of folks on my command staff. And so how do we get people in the door to kind of overlap while those people cycle out and still maintain, what we need to maintain
For
from
the
a budget
budget,
perspective. And that's the challenge right now for us in Hayward. Everybody's going through it on some level, right? Policing recruitment. If you go to any Chiefs conference, pick your part of the country, they're going to be talking about it. So it is a challenge. I will say that it is heartening to know that there are still people that, even in light of, this high level of scrutiny, I've talked to people who are like, man, I'd really love to do that, but my wife, my husband, my person said,
no way.
You ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So we are still getting people who want to come into the profession for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come because they believe it's for the greater good. They want to take care of their community. All of those things are still happening. It's happening at a rate that's not going to necessarily backfill for what we know is leaving. And so,
yeah. Well, I think you have 197 officers currently.
We have 197 budgeted positions.
What would you? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to.
Perfect number.
If you had a perfect number, what would you like?
Shoot, I would love to fill 197.
Right.
I mean, I think right now we're sitting on.
Oh, so you don't have those 197 filled?
Those are authorized budgeted positions.
I read that
think
wrong.
We have about 30 of them that are vacant.
Okay.
And on top
I
of
wish
that,
Dan would just do his homework sometimes.
And on top of that, Dan, come on, man.
Yeah, Dan. Jesus.
But on top of that,
You didn't even know how many, dude.
Yes, I do. It's on his bio.
but on top of that,
Yeah.
you take another 30-ish in the department who are on injury, they're having kids, they're on military leave, they're in training, they're not deployable in the field. So you're looking at 60 to 70 people that I can't use, and now I'm trying to plug these holes with everybody else.
What's your normal daytime police staffing on the street?
So we have it depends on the day and it depends on the time, but for patrol, we have a minimum of, I think now it's 10.
Yeah.
9 or 10 per shift. And that's citywide, right? And so you have shifts that overlap each other. You have specialty units like, you got traffic, you got gang guys, you got detectives, you got people that can go into the field and big things happen and help.
SWAT.
Yeah. Well, this
push
is
the SWAT button. We'll show up.
I didn't mean to laugh at that, but this is a segment that I'm going to call. This is when Sean gets in trouble. Because you referenced they're having babies and they're taking time off. I heard the funniest thing the other day. This dude goes, hey, man, my wife is having a baby. I'm going to need like 6 weeks off. What?
Said
You're
that
not
to
having
you?
a baby?
Said that to you?
No, it was one of the areas that I kind of stumbled across. But actually, you're allowed to take up to 6 weeks.
You can take that time off now.
Do you know how fast I wanted to go to work after I had a child?
I was going to say.
No, I think that was like 10 years ago.
I took
came in
2. I took 2. I wanted to get back after 1.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, this is not what it's. I got to go to work.
Don't let your wife listen to the podcast.
Or
she
she's
already
heard it.
knows.
She's heard it.
Well, look, I got. Before we close, I got a cartoon that I want to share with you.
And I want to do speed round real quick.
Okay,
too.
go speed round first.
Okay, we'll do speed round. All right, so I had a couple on here, and I'm just going to roll through. But one of them is most misunderstood part of being a police chief. Like, do people think that you just go into the office and you sit there and you're just kind of checking on the guys? I mean, what do you do that maybe people don't think that you do?
A lot of relationship building in a collective setting, in a one-on-one setting, right? I think people look at the chief as kind of this figurehead, and that, no chief anywhere knows everything, is privy to every decision that's made, all of these things, right? You empower your people, you train them, you set expectations, you create policy. And I think the expectation is, well, this thing happened in the middle of the night, man, chief, where were you? Well, shit, I was sleeping.
Right, yeah.
Honestly. So I think there's a misconception that, we're involved in every single decision that's made in the department. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I got one for you. Do you think someday, years from now, we won't be able to call ourselves chiefs?
I don't know who came up with that name.
Yeah,
I don't know who came up with a wool uniform either. Dumbest thing ever.
All right. And there may be nothing, but is there anything that as a chief in Hayward, whether it's terrorism, or is there anything that you worry about at night that not to have you give stuff away and maybe not, but like my thing is always, I'm always worried that some freaking idiot's going to come and do some stupid shit at, Oakland Airport or BART or some crazy shit
sure.
like that.
I think human safety, right? Safety of my staff. I've lived through a line of duty death. We've had an officer commit suicide. There's things that you worry about as a chief in terms of your people. But, Hayward, we sit on a major fault line.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's real too.
I didn't think about that.
You know what I mean?
True,
so for me, I'm just kind of like, knock on wood. I'm like,
yeah. Do you guys every year, I know this is supposed to be speed round, but every year do you guys do some sort of, I know Ahern used to have Urban Shield, which people didn't like, but do you guys do some sort of collaboration with, is that an annual thing, quarterly thing?
We do it annually. It's actually spearheaded by the fire department. We have a great relationship with our fire department, and it's a citywide effort. So not just a police department, a fire department, but every city department. And we run EOC exercises.
Mm-hmm.
We have conversations about.
Is it just citywide or county?
That's citywide. We do the.
There's a county one.
Yeah, there's a countywide one. Golden.
Yeah, we haven't done one in a while though.
There was one that we just did that. It was probably a few weeks ago, and I thought it was part of a larger multi-county effort. There's just not enough. I'll agree with that.
Well, I don't know a lot about Urban Shield. I know that they got a lot of heat for it, but I do remember one time years ago going by there, and I thought it was kind of cool because I saw a lot of the different. And one thing I learned at Urban Shield that I didn't know, to completely be off topic, but they were training with the fire department for an active shooter.
Yep.
For the fire department to go get people out from, and I never even thought about that, but I'm like, shit, yeah, you got firefighters that are going to get people that are injured, but you still have an active shooter. How are you training to protect that? And if it's county-wide and you've got other agencies coming in, how are you going to collaborate? And that's not an endorsement for Urban Shield, but that was something that I learned there at that thing that I never even thought about. That I'm like, damn.
Look, Urban Shield was great, and to prepare our public safety sectors, not just here in the county, but statewide and nationally and worldly. Like, it was a great training exercise. It was sad that it was gone. That it's gone.
Yeah. All right,
but I will ask you this in closing.
What's this little thing you got here?
So I drive a lot, and I experience a lot of crap and turds driving on the highway. And the other day, a guy
was one Val Galvin.
No, wasn't not Val.
Autonomous cars are going to fix all that, man.
There you go.
This guy decides to jump the lane over on Vasco, meaning that he left the lane, went into oncoming traffic to try to cut back into the lane to get 7 feet.
Wow.
And my temper went crazy. I wanted to get out, pull this guy out of the car, and be like, what are you doing? Like, you just risked everyone's life with your shenanigans, is a kind way of putting it. Yep. So as I'm driving the rest of the way, I'm like, how can I turn a negative into a positive? Well, I came up with it. It's called Rhodey, the highway hero. And what
did you AI
And
that?
what Rhodey does is when he sees a turd on the highway, he stops his vehicle, takes him out of the car, and hits him on the head like Benny Hill and says, I know you know better. Now get home safe. How's that?
You want me to scan
You're
that and put it on
Isn't
X?
that good for?
You're hired,
Is
man.
that
You
good
fixed
for-
it for us.
That's good PR.
Was this AI?
Yeah, I just put everything in there that I was like, man, I need a superhero that monitors the road, and Roadie protects you from roads and highways from idiot drivers.
Rhodey, the highway hero.
That's crazy.
You heard it here first.
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah.
I like
well,
it.
you know, we could keep you for a couple hours. Like I
man.
said, there's a lot of shit to talk about, but I appreciate you coming in. And
For sure.
My
Thanks.
pleasure, guys. Yeah.
you know, maybe 6 months to a year, we can have you back on again. I'm trying to get reoccurring stints from guests that come on. So thank you for
absolutely.
coming in. I know you're a busy guy. I told you before we recorded when the DA was here, all your guys' phones blow up like crazy.
Mine buzzed.
So
I heard it.
so thanks
It's all
for
right. I'll get to it.
thanks for taking a little break and coming in and seeing us.
My
So,
pleasure. I appreciate
yeah.
it, guys. Good
Yeah.
time.
All right. Well,
Appreciate it.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
until next time, we'll see ya.
Ciao.